Hey guys, it's Cathy Heller. I want to talk about co-writing today. Co-writing is such an important piece of my journey, and this is why I think co-writing is so helpful. Yes, of course you can write by yourself, and for some people they really prefer to do that, and that's fine. But let me just give you my sales pitch on why co-writing is so great. So first of all, the whole is always greater than the sum of its parts, right? When two people come together, each person brings something to the table, and I feel like we bring out the best in each other, and then I feel like what gets created is even greater than the two people. I feel like it becomes something in and of itself that's just amazing. The other reason I think it's great to co-write is because we talked before, we've talked a lot about accountability, and it keeps you accountable. Like if you know that you have a co-writing date with somebody on Thursday at noon, you're going to show up because you're now not just like flaking on yourself if you don't do that writing that day, but you're going to be flaking on somebody who's waiting for you either over Skype if you're being resourceful and writing with someone who you want to write with who's not in your hometown, or this person's waiting for you at their home studio or at the park with their guitar. You're not going to flake on them. So it keeps you accountable. Also, I feel like when you show up with a co-writer and the two of you are working towards the same end, the same goal, you can help offer so much to one another. And I know for myself that knowing that I would have a sounding board in a co-writer for a particular song I was writing, it just helped me feel less overwhelmed. It was like, okay, here's some of my ideas, now I'm going to show up, and hopefully this person is now going to weigh in on that, and then they're just going to help me know, is it good, is it not good, and that having that sounding board, it just really meant the world to me. Now I want to talk to you about editing. I want to talk to you about what I mean by editing and why it's so important. I have a little trick for you to help you prepare for your co-write. And when I'm talking about editing, I'm talking about editing yourself and all the self-doubt and self-consciousness that comes up when we write. And here's how I want you to look at it. If you have a co-write set for Friday morning, I want you to get the most out of that co-write because I want you to prep for it. I don't want you to just show up on Friday morning and be like, so how was your week and what do you want to write about? Because it's sort of not working smart, right? We want to really use the time, we want to maximize the time, so we want to set ourselves up to do the best job that we can. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it would be a great idea if you did some research. We've talked about research before. And then here's one of my tricks to a songwriter. Open up a blank Google Doc, okay? And allow yourself like an hour to just sort of like brain dump and brainstorm on a particular theme. Let's say you're going to write a song about overcoming the odds, or you're going to write a song about togetherness or female empowerment or breaking the rules. Whatever your theme is, and we're giving you a couple, so you know which ones you chose to work on already. But when I was starting out and I had these different themes swirling around, I'd pick one, open a Google Doc, and I would just give myself the space to be creative. And let everything that comes to you come out onto the page. And don't edit. Don't judge yourself. Just write whatever word, whatever thought, whatever phrase. If there's a poem, if there's a quote, if there's a story that you experience in your life and you kind of want to just jot it down because you might reference it or call upon it in a verse, write it all down with no judgment. Just get it all out there and let it be there. And then the next day you can go back in and you can use the highlighter tool and just highlight the stuff that jumps out at you. Maybe it's a word, maybe it's 3 words, maybe it's a phrase. And that's really cool because now when you give yourself that day to just do that brain dump, it just allows all this magical stuff to come in. Because one of the reasons people don't like writing a record or auditioning or whatever their particular craft is, for some people it's writing a novel, one of the reasons they don't like sitting down to write that novel, or songwriters don't like to sit down and write a song, is because it becomes a really painful process. If every time you're creative, this annoying voice comes and takes over and just criticizes you and pulls you down the whole time, you will hate it. You won't actually want to be subject to that, so you'll stop being creative because it'll just make you feel like you're this big. So part of it is giving yourself the space and the freedom to just be creative. And when you let go of that self-conscious voice and you tell yourself, don't worry, I will edit tomorrow. So it's not like I'm going off the rails here, I will edit. But it just gives you that day, that freedom to just kind of write whatever. And maybe something comes out like purple pie or monkeys or some story. And maybe that one phrase actually, it's so creative and out of the box that it turns the whole song in this beautiful new twist and it gives it this dimension and it's fun. Give yourself time to be free, to edit, and then you go back the next day, use your highlighter tool, pick out your favorite pieces, and then when you show up at your co-write, bring that with you. Tell the co-writer ahead of time, This is what I want to write about today. I already did some, brain dumping and some brainstorming, and here's a few nuggets that I like. What do you think of this as the start of a verse? What do you think of this as one of the hooks? See what the person says and go from there. I'm telling you, there's a way to figure out and dial in our process so we don't reinvent the wheel every single time. And when we know how to work smart, it allows for things to happen much more frequently because we're like, oh, I know my process. I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. Otherwise, it's like every day you're like, oh yeah, what am I supposed to be working on? What piece of that can I do today? Well, I can't go to the studio today, so I guess I'm not doing anything. It's like, wait, you have a process. You come up with a theme, you do some research, you do some brainstorming, you set up a co-write. Seeing the method to the madness of what we're doing, we're trying to give you the keys to a process, to a strategy. And so stick with us. We'll see you guys in the Facebook group. Check in there every single day. You'll see us. Hope that you're enjoying the challenge. We love having you guys, and we're so excited to be listening to the songs that you're creating. And talk to you soon.